former national organizer of the NDC, an NDC parliamentary candidate for Buem, and also spokesperson of Jerry Rawlings at the time, Kofi Adams. You're welcome to Point Blank.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
Oh, by the grace of God, I'm well. But you know the challenges that we all face in this country. You wake up every day, you pray to God and thank God for the day, hoping that something good will come out from leadership. You don't hear anything. You go back to sleep. You thank God for at least keeping you alive. You wake up, then you thank Him. But then we are inching close to the end of all these troubles of waking up and not knowing your left from your right in terms of leadership of the country, because this year is an election year. The election month is December, and the NDC is presenting a very formidable person who understands this country, understands its problems, and would make sure that they will get resolved.
You presented this formidable person before in 2016. Ghanaians rejected him. I'll ask you what has changed now. But first, the man you once spoke for, Jerry John Rawlings, I think...
Why not ask straight so that I talk about what has changed?
No, I'll tell you. I'll give you the opportunity. But how is Jerry Rawlings doing?
He's doing very well.
He hasn't appointed a replacement for you since... Were you fired or you resigned?
I didn't resign. I was not fired.
You just left the office and decided not to?
I didn't leave the office. I'm still connected to the office in many ways.
But you're not his spokesperson?
Not the spokesperson.
Let me understand this. As former presidents, they are entitled to some staff. Does that include spokesperson?
Yes.
So you were at the time an official of the state?
Yes.
Are you still an employee of the state?
No, I'm not an employee of the state.
So there's a vacancy for spokesperson of Jerry Rawlings?
Not that there's a vacancy, because surely you say vacancy when there will be opportunity for somebody to earn an income or salary out of it. That has well been replaced, but I don't think that the title of spokesperson still exists in the office.
How is he taking the Professor Ahoy book? We have seen the response, and he said he'll write a book, but
I think the response has come out. He's given indication that at the right time he would also come out with his book, and I believe that we have to leave it there and focus on the big issue which is an election.
We'll talk about the big issue.
He himself will wish that the NDC wins to come and continue his great program.
Are you sure he wishes that? He wasn't at your event at UPSA. I'll ask you, but
he's not been present in our since the decision had been to reduce as much as possible the elderly from participating in some of the programs that we do. The Council of Elders has not fully participated in our they do so through a representative, and that's where you see Alhaji Mahama Idrisu, who is the vice chair of the council, mostly represented. But this is not the first time. It has always been like that.
Yes.
Even
it means he's distancing himself from the party.
No. Long before even 2008, when he was actively involved in campaigning, it was late Dr. Harisoya who used to chair the Council of Elders activities. He will attend one meeting or the other, but then not be actively involved. When we're doing the reorganization of the party towards the 2018 conferences to elect our leadership, he took part in a number of meetings, and that was the most critical part of the party. Having reorganized and having done all the elections all the way to the national level, the leadership then can now take charge of doing the necessary consultations and getting things going. So
is he conflicted by the fact that he has a party that he founded? His wife has left to go and found another party. His daughter is an MP in the party that he founded. Is Jerry Rawlings a conflicted character?
I don't think that he's conflicted. I believe strongly that he remains the founding father of the National Democratic Congress, and that is what is on record. Others can form parties and say they believe in his ideologies, and you cannot stop them from saying that they believe. So we are happy that parties have been formed that believes in the ideologies of our founding father. So clearly meaning that there could be a possibility of future integration. And so it is not like they say we no longer believe the ideologies of the founding father of the NDC. They still believe in those ideologies. So who knows what will happen in the future?
How is Nana Konindo Ajima Rawlings and the NDP?
Oh, it'll be difficult for me to know the happenings of other political parties, especially parties that are not in government. I will not have much interest in knowing what's happening there beyond reading one or two things that they do. I think I read recently that they also had their national confirmation of officers. I don't think that it was an election. They had a national conference. Acclamations kind of thing of executives and the flag bearer of the party. So that's all I know.
Is Jerry Rawlings disappointed and feeling let down by Professor Kwame Nahoy's book?
I can tell that he's indicated that he's going to write his book.
When you were crashed out in Sunyani in 2011, he said that he was going to write a book. That book never came.
No,
9 years on.
That's why he's told you that he's done a lot on that, and because normally when you bring out such material, the discussions and then the tractions that it takes may take away from the major activity that's happening, such as an election. And so his wish was that let's finish this election project, and then after that he can look at the matter of his book. So
97.3 City FM. This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. My guest is Kofi Adams. Why do you think John Mahama is more formidable this time? In 2016 he was rejected.
Yeah, sure. I usually want to do this analysis, not that I'm equating him to Christ the Savior, no. But you remember at the trial of Christ, everybody rejected him, even including some of his closest disciples, that he had even forewarned that they will, before the cock crow, they will reject him. All of them. Some rejected him out of fear. Others rejected him because they didn't believe. He says, you see, you are the Son of God, you are King, you are there, save yourself. Then they will spit on him, they will do this. But subsequently, after the crucifixion and the resurrection, today, we all over everywhere, he is spreading and being accepted and being carried out. That is what has happened to the John Dramani Mahama brand. If many people knew that this was the person they were rejecting, I am sure they would not have done what they did. And that is why people are apologizing. You go around, the nurses are apologizing. We are sorry, Mahama, come back. Drivers are apologizing. We are sorry, Mahama, come back. Okada riders are apologizing. We are sorry, Mahama, come back. The
parents of SHS students are apologizing.
Mahama. Parents are apologizing.
Of SHS
yes,
students.
Mahama, come back.
Free SHS beneficiaries are apologizing.
Everywhere you go,
free
double
SHS.
track, double trouble. Parents, students who have been subjected to double trouble, double track, are apologizing that we really didn't understand. Now we understand.
We didn't understand that we will not pay school fees. Now we understand we are not paying school fees.
We didn't understand that we are going to actually spend more.
Really more?
We're going to spend more. That is why we are saying we're coming to work on the free SHS and make it much more acceptable.
Something you said was not possible.
You never said was not possible. Indeed,
you said was not doable at the time.
We saw to the writing of the country's constitution long before maybe many who today are benefiting from it were born. We knew that the country must prepare itself to implement free secondary education, including even tertiary level, based on availability.
But in 2016, you said it was
no,
not the time.
We said that we would want a gradual process approach.
But someone came and did it instantaneously.
But he did it instantaneously without continuing with even some of the programs that we've started, and we are all living witnesses.
But we are getting education. An educated population is way better than an uneducated one.
Education that is creating problems that teachers sometimes do not even know when they are supposed to even be in school and when they are not supposed to even
That's an unserious teacher if you have an academic calendar that you work with.
No, but the academic calendar have been confused.
How is it confused? You have a track. You
are in media. You have been seeing releases from GES about the reopening will be this. Before you see, no, these people are going. This track, this category of persons in this track are going. These ones are not going. Was that how education was organized in the past?
when you did the reforms of 87, I believe there would have been...
Was that how education was organized in the past?
Yeah, I'm saying that if there's a new system,
I was a pioneer. I don't know. Apart from that, I was also a pioneer of a system. Okay. We did not go through this.
Which pioneer? Which system?
I'm talking about the new educational system.
Is it the 87 one?
Yes. So
were there no challenges?
I'm saying that even if there were challenges, we didn't have a situation where even the teachers didn't know when we have to go to
But
school.
the teachers who didn't know actually went to class and taught students and they've written WASI.
It should not be that way. It is ultimately it's the student that suffers. It's the education that suffers, and we think that there's a problem with it. Parents think that there's a problem with it. Even the students think that there's a problem with it. Even the government itself also admits that there is problem with it.
But there definitely will be a problem. But
sure, and that is why we are saying we have a superior understanding of the problem.
Give me 5 things that should entice Ghanaians to go back for John Mahama.
1, of believability. If I say that I will do it, you will do it. So that is 1.
Okay.
This and then when I say it, I want to give you many examples so that you can. This was a president. His own party had run for some time and he was contesting for an election. And he thought that it is possible to look at size of government and even realign ministries. When he became president, he truly realigned some ministries. The Ministry of Information did not exist through the entire period of the John Dramani Mahama administration. It was submerged under Communication Ministry. So the 2 ministries would have had 2 substantive ministers and maybe 2 deputies each. But what did we find? We ended up with 1 minister and 2 deputies. So you saved the state some resources, and that could be pushed in many other areas. He talked about making corruption. He was going to fight it. He fought it, and really persons under his administration were dealt with. You remember one young minister who was doing quite well, and we were all so happy for her. Just for the mere expression that for her, if she made some amount of money, she was really going to quit politics. She didn't say she was going to either use an orthodox means or the rest. The president then thought that no, your thinking is not in sync with a public office holder. So therefore, I could not allow you to continue. Acts like this suggest that you will not tolerate any such behavior. Of course, he promised that he was going to deal with infrastructure, education. You saw it. Yes, he did not complete everything, but at least you saw a clear sign that he was determined to building new schools.
That's believability. What else? Your examples are becoming too many.
Of course, I'm giving you many examples.
So believability. What else?
Believability is key.
Okay.
2, the understanding of the problems that confronts the country.
The understanding of problems such as understanding that Okada was a nuisance and only realizing later that it was a misunderstanding.
No.
Signing it into law, making it illegal.
No. You see, the understanding there is that you saw something that has come up without appropriate preparation to deal with the situation. Now you've taken your time. It's like, let me use this case as an example. You're in the hospital environment, a situation happens like sometimes the way COVID came. There were many theories that were being thrown by a person, but subsequently you settle down and realize that you have a better understanding of how to deal with that situation. I'm telling you that he has a better understanding today even than yesterday, because he's been there, he stepped out, he's gone round, he's engaged all of you, the media, the ordinary persons. Look, there is not a single leader in this country who has had a direct engagement with the people, understood them, stood their concerns from their perspective, and looked at what is available and what is doable and what can be done, and to promise what it is that he would. So
it's good that he lost, so he gets the opportunity to interact. If he hadn't lost, he wouldn't have interacted with the people.
No, I won't say that. But even as a leader, he was, of course, still consulted. But the opportunity that he's had after leaving office, I think brought him even much more closer to the people. The listening tour brought him much more also closer to the people. He had the opportunity of meeting a lot more persons, maybe than the busyness of being in the office may not have allowed him to have had that chance of engaging all those persons.
3.
Then, of course, someone who can invest appropriately. He has done so with little. We had just one oil field. At the time he left office, our debt was just about 120 billion. That's taking it from the days of Nkrumah all through those who have come before him. It was 120 billion. You can see a lot of meaningful infrastructure around you. So with little, he is able to get so much.
Is it the same person who bought and introduced so much megawatts of power that we are not using? Is that good investment?
Is there any megawatts of power that you are not using?
Yeah, we have excess. We have power in excess of what we require. Because there was a plan to sell to neighboring countries that have not started listing.
And then that is why, if you listen to the energy experts, they tell you that this government, if they had allowed the processes of continuing to upgrade the transmission system, it would have made it possible to be able to sell power to some of these neighboring countries, and it will cost you far less.
But we don't even have expression of interest from these countries.
The people are interested.
How come they still are not taking?
Because the government they don't understand. The people we've put in charge now don't understand how to go about it.
People who are looking for money.
That is why you must.
People who are willing to get money even from royalties will not go get money from the energy sector if there is.
They don't understand. If you don't understand, you just don't understand. Look, there are a lot of media houses before yours came. You are expanding and doing other things, but they have remained where they are.
They lack understanding.
They don't have the understanding.
4.
We have the understanding.
4.
We have the understanding.
Is that my 4th point or 5th point?
Then
let's do the last point so that we can talk about Boem.
Then also someone who, of course, will generate a lot of employment. He has done it before. We have proven it before. And
better than Nanado's 2 million, 2.50 thousand and 10 jobs.
I'm told that the National Youth Organizer of the NPP said, among other things, and he was giving figures, and he said they have created 750,000 public sector jobs. My brother, the entire public sector now is even less than 700,000. I think it's about 630,000 thereabout. So how on earth can you create 750,000 jobs in 4 years, more than the total existing public sector jobs? So it tells you that they are just throwing out figures.
You promised. I remember Samuel Ablakwa quoted as saying that you had created 1 million jobs at the time. It was difficult for your government to prove that.
No, it wasn't.
Believability.
It wasn't. You see, we didn't say public sector jobs.
Okay.
When you start construction, people who previously were not getting jobs to do will get jobs to do. People who previously maybe were not even selling food will now have opportunity to be able to sell food. If you count all these persons, plus many other interventions that you do, people were looking for maybe direct persons who maybe have been earning pay and then being on the payroll, and that was not what was actually calculated to get you that one. Okay. That was why the employment minister then came and then he gave figures that he was dealing with as employment minister. People who.
So we should trust that you give us more jobs than
the NDC. Of course, we have indicated clearly that in 4 years we will create a minimum of 1 million jobs. 250,000 every year.
Paint a geographical picture for us, for those of us who do not know where your constituency is located. Where is it?
My constituency is located to the previously northern part of Volta, now the southern part of Uti. So in entering Uti, if you are going to be coming through Hohoi, Lolobi, you would get to Baika. That's where the constituency actually starts. So we are bounded to Togo to east.
Oh, Togo.
Yeah, we are bounded to Togo.
Did you get some people from Togo registering?
No, nobody from Togo has registered in our. We have Ghanaians who live there.
Okay.
And so when they have to register, they are coming in as Ghanaians to come and register.
Continue,
so we don't have
continue with the geography.
Who live there.
Okay.
And so people from Togo will come and register, but they are Ghanaians.
Okay.
This time around, the borders were closed, and we had military and or immigration persons there. So because the borders were closed, even Ghanaians who were on the other side could not even cross over to come and even register.
So your constituency is called Buem. Is that the capital? Is that the name of the capital?
Buem is the people of that area. That's
Okay.
the traditional.
So this is a Guan.
It's a Guan constituency.
A clan of
the language we speak is Lelemi, but we are Buem people.
Okay.
The capital is Jasikan.
So this is Jasikan.
Yeah, that's the Jasikan district. So the district is called Jasikan district. But the constituency is Buem, named after the people who are there.
I see. What's the population of voters?
The population of voters now is 35,000 for Buem.
Okay.
But if you combine, what has happened is that the government, having created a new region, hived some towns and traditional areas from previous Ohwe, and they are part of Oti. So they've been added to the Jasikan district. So they are now under Buem. If you add all these areas, then we have about 53,000 voters.
And what percentage of that do you expect to gain in 2020, December 7?
For the elections, myself and my flag bearer, we are doing nothing less than 90%.
90%. So that's over 40,000 of the votes.
Sure.
What do the people of Buem need?
Buem is an agrarian area. We are basically cocoa growing community. So our one biggest need is to invest in things that will better the life of the people in farming communities, i.e. roads must be done and done well. Health care needs is important. We have a district hospital, right, but it needs to be upgraded. It needs to have other facilities added. Of course, we need education. It's another key area that we are very much.
Do you have an E-block?
No, we don't have an E-block, but we do have quite a number of educational facilities and institutions. We have
so do you have a secondary school
there, and so we have secondary schools there. And
you have a teacher training, I think.
We have a college of education, college of education there. And that is why my people have been asking that a university that will be established should be brought to the constituency, and that appeal and request have been there.
Why should they choose Kofi Adams?
Clearly Kofi Adams can represent them better. Kofi Adams has the necessary connection and the determination to make sure that the issues that affect the people at that low level are brought to national attention. And when the issues are brought to national attention, that is where they get solutions. So you must be looking for somebody to represent you who can easily bring your issues to national attention and who can rally many other persons around to make sure that solutions are found privately and collectively to solving such problems. And you should also be looking for someone who can unite the people around focused issues. And that is exactly what I represent.
That's lacking? There's lack of unity in your constituency?
Oh, sure. I won't say that in my party that is not the case. But generally, as a traditional area, there are issues. There are a number of chieftaincy issues that have to be dealt with.
As an MP, you're going to delve into dealing with
chieftaincy. Oh, sure. You are a leader. You are supposed to make sure that all matters are dealt with. You cannot say that because chieftaincy matter. You may not directly do it, but you must create the opportunity for the resolution of the matter.
You are going against the DC, aren't you?
Sure, I'm going against the DC.
He's the president's representative in the locality.
Sure.
He would be responsible and possibly take credit for all the developmental projects, and including the creation of a new region.
Yeah.
You think you can still beat him?
When the president was talking about people who championed the creation of the region, I believe you used to report from Parliament.
I've never reported from Parliament. I go there occasionally.
You go there. Okay, but I'm sure you listened to the president when he was reporting that time about the creation of the regions. He mentioned some names. He mentioned the first name he mentioned was Dr. Obeda Samoa. He mentioned his regional minister then for Volta region, Dr. Archibald Lecha. The third person he mentioned was Kofi Adams.
So you were pushing for a new region?
Not that I was pushing for new region. That was what we have promised in our manifesto also. And during our campaign in 2016, we did promise the creation of 5 regions. Our opponent promised 1. And so if they have come and they were carrying our program, we should be interested in seeing to it.
So that's why you went to campaign and ensure.
For example, like we are in support of the legalization of Okada. We are saying that we are going to abolish the law that bans the importation of salvage vehicles. If the very government that says no, they will not listen to these persons, now decide that, oh, we want to listen to you because we've brought the matter up. There's no way we are going to oppose it. We will support them to do it, but we know that the people who benefit from the Okada services will say thank you to John Dramani Mahama and NDC.
Do you not
because
think
they are the ones who brought the matter up? The people in garages who are involved in importation of home use cars and the rest, if as they have suspended the law now, will say thank you to John Dramani that even before we vote for you, you are already bringing the change that we want.
How difficult is it going against a DCE?
It would have been difficult if he was performing, but unfortunately,
he's not performing.
No.
How?
It's a disaster.
He hasn't done anything.
You see, simple things that he's supposed to do, he has really failed to perform. So for him, is not in competition.
I want you to speak to the people of your constituency in what's the language? Lelemi. I want you to speak to them and tell them who you are and that you want them to vote for you.
Okay. Beni kubati mutemi elie uyo menelo bamwa ami mino bi Kofi Adams anwo modi meni omui neken kufina motemi kumi na sitting FM point blank program winelo ni like me dedi ne na nyawo dika boya kabushe netonto dika botam pa bushe netonto na onye me indi utwe na ni fe utwe di wadami konu o utwe sra kuiko di otati na pein kaya kanga chamunu fancy radio cha inji already osun si eche na vote temi ni fe utwe di otati na me uluye lo mavi na mekpe na metine to tobishe mboku bwa nema na nsondi twe no mo hiaka bwa kelie bwa fu ibulie ke ibwe nelo na mavi lu bia lelo bwa ba nwa ban fu nchambo na bwa nielo boku na bwa no ka ke ibwe kemena bwa fu ibulie na de tobishe webe.
Come back from Western Togoland now. That was
we are not in Western Togoland.
Oh, you are not
in region.
Oh, you are in Oti region. Okay. Kofi Adams is a former national organizer of NDC parliamentary candidate for Buem. Thank you for joining us on Point Blank. I wish you all the best.
It's the time of our. We couldn't do anything much about our.
Oh, you can bring money. My sales manager is waiting. We can give you more time.
Well, we have to repeat.
We don't worry. Thank you so much for joining us.
Omaro.